Hey guys, I'm Scott Brown, the developer for Worldstone Chronicles, and this is my 26th devlog. I've been really busy lately working on a new demo for you guys to play. Now this demo expands the demo that's currently up there, which was only 3 scenes, to about 15 scenes. There might even be a few more in there. And what I wanted to go over was just all the different things that I've added to it. So to start off, I ended up adding a whole bunch of potions, food, and items. Now these items can respawn, and they basically have a small % chance at each one of these nodes. So you see me dropping a potion there, that basically has a 10% chance to show up in wherever spot I put it. And I basically just placing these things all over the place. Now once you do acquire one, it does have a timer on it, so it has to wait a certain amount of time, and that's just by design. But I also didn't want everything to be in the same spot every time you were to replay the game or come back here later. Once the timer is gone, it has a 10% chance to come back the next time you're in there. Now I went and added this to quest items as well, and this one here has a 100% chance to find it, but it also means that if someone was to log in and out of this zone, they're not going to be able to just keep cheesing it and finding the same one. They'll have to go and find a different crate. Now, it's surprising it takes a long time to kind of put all this stuff down, but I did use them in prefab format, so it was a matter of just opening up scenes and finding little unique spots for it. It's an enjoyable little part. It will be interesting to see how it all feels when I play the game and see what the drop rates feel like. Hopefully there's not too much tweaking later on. Now the next thing I want to show you guys was this scene that I'm fixing up. Below the castle there's a cave, and it was one of my first designs quite a while ago, so it looked kind of crappy. I have done some more recent caves, but we're not really there yet. The scope of the demo doesn't reach that point in the game. However, it was really well done, so I'm kind of getting some of the ideas from that zone and bringing them over here. I wasn't too happy entirely with some of it, so I am fiddling around here with some different types of terrains. What I typically like to do is I have kind of like in the middle, outside of the walls, I'll kind of have like this beige colored sandy area, and then as the walls blend in, I start to put in like chunkier types of terrain so that it blends the two together, because naturally around like the edge of a wall you'll have pebbles and larger rocks, and in the middle open areas it's kind of smoother. So that's the idea here. Now I do like to break up the basic pattern that I laid down here with this. It's almost like a giant claw, you can see there. That helps me break up any repetition, so I do that quite often. And then I also have some meshes that I'll lay down as well afterwards, and those things do really help at breaking up the scene quite a bit. Now here's the final look of it. Really snazzy looking lava there and the rocks around it. The mist and fog really add some good depth to this scene. I also wanted to add some secrets to this cave, so I put these boulders here, and basically this will be one of those secrets that you don't always get at the same time. It's dependent on race, background, and stats. So whatever way you have it as an option at the time you can utilize, but some people might have to come back here later on in the game in order to get it. Now inside that room I actually wanted to add some tombstones, and basically going to use some different types of stone that I've already made, and I'm just going to put down kind of this little tiny plot inside the cave. I want these tombstones to be clickable, so what I'm doing is grabbing from another scene, which is also a cave, and just grabbing some of that information. This little, like, it's almost like a podium or something like that, and I'm going to place them on top of that, and I think a couple pillars around it just to make it look like it was some sort of old ritual area, and blending it in with the terrain so that it kind of looks like it's scuffed up and been unvisited in a long time. So here's kind of the design I'm going with. I think it looks pretty neat. The next thing I wanted to start working on was some enemies. I started off with this kind of ghostly like enemy here, and I've used it before in some of my other areas, but I wanted to make it a different color and appearance. So I started off with this red colored look, and then I decided I want to make it more of a like fiery looking ghost. So I'm going to change the color up here to a more like orange color, and make it look like it's semi-transparent, And it's got a very spooky look. I was actually really happy with the initial design that I made with it. It's actually utilizing an old humanoid body, and I just basically, it's the same animations as your main character would have, but because it has no legs, they're just basically moving nothing. But essentially, if I put like legs and feet on it, they'd be moving too. But essentially, he kind of just floats there, and you don't see it. It's a me being lazy little thing, but sometimes you find little tricks like that, because I'm not the biggest fan of animations. I find they take a long time to put together, and any shortcut that I could possibly take, I will. But anyways, this is what he kind of looks like here. He looks kind of creepy. I added 2 more enemies. The first one here is a lava elemental, which I thought it was fitting considering there's lava everywhere in this cave. The next one that I added was these little wisps. These things actually play a little bit into the story, and so does the elemental, but essentially this glowing rock here, it's kind of infecting them, and it's my way of kind of continuing the story and keeping the user invested by just incorporating parts of the story into the effects on the enemies around them. Now, just finishing off with the enemies, I wanted to have a kind of like a final boss in here, so I came up with this new enemy, which I'm going to be adding in a couple different areas. So you'll find her here, and then she'll be that typical trope enemy that escapes, and then you have to beat her later on, and she'll be like X amount tougher. But anyways, I came up with this new cultist type enemy, and she's been chanting all of her dark magic beneath the castle. And here she is, and basically part of the battle, she'll summon some little minions that she's conjured up here. And you'll have to beat this small little group here. And it'll be like one of your first big battles where it's not just, a tank and spank fight. You'll have to strategize on how to beat her. And there's going to be some healing mechanics that she does. So, you have to pick where to attack and what to do first, and maybe die a couple times. So, as a result of putting this in there, I did decide later on I need to put a save stone in this place here, because people are going to be pretty pissed if they die and they don't have a good save spot located nearby. So I ended up adding that after making this encounter. Now, the idea with these caves was to allow the user in the demo to play with up to 4 characters. You could technically play with 5 in the game, but for the demo's purposes, I wanted you to have a little bit more of a feeling of how it gets more enjoyable when you have more characters to play with. So he's going to be your 4th player, and you can have him join. You don't actually technically have to have him. You can do the caves all by yourself if you want. But you can take him along the ride with you, and he does come with kind of a quest. So here I am just accepting the quest, and now he's on my team. After I was done with all the cave stuff, I put some work into fixing up the walls, because it was one of those areas that I didn't quite figure out why the inside of the castle looked kind of lame. There's a lot of repetition on some of the flat walls here. You see where my men are. They in order to break that up, I just decided to add like these columns and support beams right along the sides there, and it was actually a really easy way of adding immense detail in some of these scenes. So I went throughout the entire castle. I think there's like 10 different rooms that I had to fix up. So I went through each one and just started plastering all these posts and beam supports everywhere I possibly could. And while I was doing that, I also added a whole bunch of new NPCs in here. This guy here is part of a quest board. I really like to use these quest boards. I got the idea from Witcher, and I thought it was a really easy way for me to add just like random stuff into the game and not get too complex with some of the quest systems that I've designed. I want to have some complex stuff, but I also want to have some really easy things for me to put in and for you to access if you just need to get some experience or items and follow along with some progression. Now, another little detail that I found really made a huge difference was the tiles that I originally had in the castle were like these larger gray tiles. I found this other stuff that I had. I can't remember where I found it. I think I bought some like terrain tile package or some crap like that. Anyways, I ended up making it on a plane, and I'd kind of superimpose it over the existing terrains that I made. And I made this kind of like cobblestone centerpiece and have the old tiles kind of like the exterior. I don't really know what I'm trying to do here, but it looks really good. It added like so much detail to the flooring that I decided to do the entire castle with this sort of flooring format. I can kind of like shift the tiles a little bit to make them fit exactly where I want. Just the way that pattern works, it's so forgiving. And then I'm just snapping them all together and then kind of take a peek and see how it looks in game, and then see if that's what I want. But the idea behind these tiles, they add just a lot of detail to it, and for me it's all about breaking up repeating patterns, because I do use a lot of texture atlasing in my game, and it's very hard to break up patterns, and this is just one way that I do it. So here we are. There's the hallway's been redone. I even added some of these red banners on the wall just to break up some of the column supports that I used earlier, and that to me is like 10 times better than what I had before, so I'm really happy with this. Now that's it for this devlog. I have been working tirelessly on this new demo. It is on Steam right now. We've gone through 3 rounds of testing. We've got a whole bunch of help from a lot of you guys out there already who've used the bug reporting system. If you are going to play the game and you do see anything like spelling mistakes, anything whatsoever, you get stuck, use the F11 bug reporting inside the game. It sends me your save file, a screenshot, and any information that you type in there. So the more information that gets done now, the better this game's going to be when I do release it. Now, I do have a date for Steam Next Fest. We are going for a launch in June with them, and hopefully everything goes well. This will be the demo that I'm going to submit to them. I believe it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to do really well. It's got a lot of content in there. For some of you guys who haven't played the full thing, it took me 4 hours and I couldn't even finish it on stream, and I know all the secrets, so I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of fun. I really hope that Steam Next Fest turns out great for me. As for tentative dates after that, I've got this vision in my head, but I don't want to make any promises. But things are motoring along, and if that goes really well for me, that's just only going to make things go faster. So I'm crossing my fingers that June is the date that's going to work well. I could always push it back to the fall if I had to, but right now, the way the demo's working, I've got 3 more months. I think that's plenty of time to get that thing squeaky clean. And with your guys' help, I can't thank you enough for all the guys who have done it. But without your help breaking this game, it's hard for me to find all these little mistakes, because I play it in a particular way, and then when you play it a completely different style. You end up finding things that I would have never thought of. So I'm eternally grateful for some of you guys who have really helped in that. So big thanks to you guys so far. And any of you guys who are going to try it out, please send me your bug reports. Even if you want to tell me that the game's awesome, I appreciate that more than anything. And anything negative too, I'll take whatever I can. So please. Anyways, guys, that's it for this devlog. I hope to see you guys in the next one. And please make sure you wish list. And if you do want to support me, I do have Patreon as well. And with that, you can get a little bit more involved in the game. I can even put some NPC names down in there for you. You can even make a quest, a bad guy. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. So if you feel like supporting, head on over there and show me your support. That would be super awesome if you did that. Anyways, guys, I'm out. I'm rambling on here. You guys have a great week, and we'll look forward to the future. Cheers.